What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more garbage, and more from their 2.0 album, 1998. As you can probably tell, I'm under the weather. I don't feel all that bad. I certainly sound way worse than I feel, so I figured I could still do a few videos. And yeah, ultimately, the next tune is special. It's a single word title. Something that is special is not regular or normal. It is in some ways anomalous and perhaps exceptional with the connotation of positive value, meaning special is in some sense just set aside from what is normal, and there's no necessary positive or negative indication, but the way it's used, certainly in colloquial or everyday settings, is that something is special is better than things which are not special. It's not just set aside, but it is in some ways superior, or at least deserves more attention and care. So I suppose, you know, there are nuances in different situations where, like, the ubiquitous applicability of that principle may be thrown into question. But generally speaking, when they call something special, it's deserving of more attention than regular things. So I wonder, you know, are we talking a person? Is it a situation? Is it a feeling? It could be all of those things at the same time. But again, knowing at least an album and a half or so worth of their material, I'd expect there to be maybe something beyond a simple understanding of the phrase, or, you know, a twist, an irony, some sort of darker interpretation than might otherwise be expected. Either way, let's find out. This is Garbage, the tune is Special, and it's from their 2.0 album, 1998.
You all the time. I used to enjoy you. Couldn't control you. There was nothing that I wouldn't do to keep myself around there close to you. Do you have an opinion? A mind of your own? I thought you were special. I thought you should know. But I'm out of patience. I couldn't care less.
Tune went underwater and or became a bit more like dance sounding. I didn't hear that part first time around. God, there's like a serious tonal shift felt way more serious by the end than it did at the start. Sonically, I mean, like sonically, it had this lightness to it, and again, they do seem to do that well. Where what you're hearing, there's more that lies beneath, even if superficially it might give you one sort of sentiment or interpretation. So yeah, by the end, again, there were these like tonal shifts in the melody and the vocals where it was like this intense and like serious passion. But it's interesting because it's like she's basically saying this other person is derivative. Like she thought they were unique, they were special, they were something that to behold, something to give attention to. But now they've run out of patience, they've run out of time with this other person. And again, like at first I was thinking, because like do you have an opinion? Do you have a mind of your own? Like realizing that they're essentially mimicking or aping other things, and maybe like in the dynamic of the interpersonal relationship, maybe like, well, I don't know, what do you want to do? Like there's nothing that they're like contributing. But again, then that line about like I'm tired of the violence, or I don't know if it was tired of, but it was something like to that effect. So that made it like, oh wait, like was it even worse than I was thinking? It's not just that maybe he's not quite the person that she thought, but he's not the person she thought, and the results of that were kinetic, physical, and harmful. But either way, yeah, like there's no chance, and she doesn't want to be misunderstood. Like this is a message. Just, I thought you were special. Turns out that's not the case. I'm done with it, and no, we will not be getting back together. This is not something that will come back or resurrect. So yeah, ultimately, Special certainly did have a bit of a twist and a darker underpinning. So once again, a cool tune, and yeah, I don't know, by the time this one went into that like more serious feeling in the latter stages, it emerged as one of my favorites from them so far. So big shout out to Garbage, shout out to Mikey, shout out to all the folks who've been going through the Garbage reactions, shout out to Philip, of course, for providing the materials for this album, and ultimately, yeah, looking forward to hearing. It's interesting being aware of them in such a like vague, limited sense, as some other deep dives are like that, where I knew 2 or 3 tracks, knew them reasonably well, but that's it. And knowing Garbage, as it turns out, Only Happy When It Rains, and I think there was maybe one other one where it was like, okay, I do remember this, but yeah, it's, I was missing out on a lot, as I guess the short version of what I'm trying to articulate, that some of these groups where it's like, man, I was aware of them, I could have taken that journey, for whatever reason, I just had so much other music going on, or whatever, but yeah, it's cool to go through these things now. So once again, shout out to Philip, shout out to Mikey, shout out to all the folks following the Garbage reactions, which, as you can see, I'm getting better about not laughing at that. Ultimately, just through repetition, I've come to see it as a more like, informational sentence, not saturated with as much comedy. But either way, shout out to those following these reactions. I will see you next time. Peace.